Well, Halloween would not be complete without those ghost spirits and haunted houses.
So with us today to talk about the spooky side of Halloween, can be kind of fun too, is psychic medium Jody Harvilla. Welcome back.
I'm back. I've been on TV all morning today.
Yay!
It's been so fun.
That's awesome.
It's been a fun day.
So first, have anything else then come to you about Lisa's story, or?
Well, what's interesting is that she doesn't remember. And oftentimes little kids, it is such a natural thing for a lot of little kids, not all of them, but there's such a natural connection with children. And then as they grow up, they're told not to have that. Like we teach them, oh, there's no spirits. Oh, that it's just your imagination. And oftentimes it's not their imagination. They actually, my oldest son, had 2 imaginary friends. And through the years, we've learned different things about our house, and it's like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And now as he's older, he doesn't remember it.
Really?
And because I think you just kind of grow out of it. He's still very intuitive, but he doesn't really remember the friends.
Let me ask you, you may think, Berg, you're crazy, but is there any chance that spirit can kind of block those memories off, or?
No, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like as she got older, it just kind of left her memory a little bit. Yeah, I actually have kids that remember past lives clearly. I have one client that when her kid was, I think he was 4. I'm almost sure he was 4. He knew the plane he died in, the model of the plane. He knew his.
Oh my gosh.
He knew his name, and they could go online and prove it. So kids have a much closer connection to that spiritual side than most adults do.
Wait. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
What do you mean?
Well, they went online and they could look back to the year that he died, way back when, and there was actually a record of the plane, the name, how he crashed, how he died, all of these different things. And he remembered his mom. He's like, oh, we have done this before. Like, he knew her name from the other life, too.
This is when he was 4?
Fascinating, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Fascinating.
That can be
I got some good stories.
That
yeah.
can be sometimes some scary stuff when parents hear their kids say something about it being in their house and you want them to be safe. So how do you walk through that with families?
Well, oftentimes, because I do space clearing professionally, and so oftentimes when I get a call, people call me because they're scared and they're in total fear. Like, oh my God, my house is haunted and we're hearing noises and my kids are seeing stuff and they're not sleeping and all of these different things. Oftentimes, it's a lot of times a loved one, and they're just trying to get their attention, like, hey, we're still here, we're still here. Or sometimes it is more of an earthbound spirit that maybe just doesn't know how to get into the light, or maybe they weren't the best person in their human life, and so they maybe are afraid of the judgment, or they might be punished when they cross over, things like that. And so that doesn't happen all that often, though. Most often it's just your loved ones coming because they want to say, hey, we're here. We're supporting you. We just want to get your attention, let you know we aren't gone, and we're still here. That's oftentimes what happens.
So then do you just tell them, like, okay, you're scaring the kids, you're scaring me?
I do, because if you start to, I always tell the parents, stop feeding the fear of it and just get some education around it. So number one, you know that they're feelers, because if you feel something, it does feel kind of creepy until you understand, like, oh, I get it. Yeah, that's that tickle behind my head. Oh, I didn't know that they did that. And so you can use a psychic medium for some validation. Not necessarily to prove anything, but like, oh, do you get like a tickle behind your head? Oh, I totally do. Yeah, that's just them reaching out and giving you a physical touch. And so when I come in, oftentimes it's about educating the people that live in the house on how spirit comes to them, because if they're feelers and they're not used to it, it is scary. So it's a valid fear to have, but I always tell people, like, don't feed into the fear, because that grows too. And then you can create some scary experiences. And most of them are just self-created. They're not really happening.
Yeah.
Have you had like a very, oh my gosh, that scared the living daylights out of
you?
Oh
my
experience?
God, yes.
Hold that thought.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it
Okay.
right after this break.
Cliffhanger.